How's everybody able to hear my audio? Hopefully it's coming in loud and clear. Any feedback you can provide before we get going will be greatly appreciated. Trader Joe, what's up? How's my audio? Can you hear me? Oh, you guys, this is the big one. Woo! There's so much to discuss really today. Hey there, Paul. Yeah, Oz, you're gonna love what I'm gonna do. Pepe, when he comes in here, for the people that really appreciate the power of what Trade Ideas does behind the scenes, you're really gonna enjoy this live stream. Could be one of the most pivotal ones you've ever seen. Pepe, wait till you see what I'm gonna show you today. And again, Pepe, I just want to tell you that, you know, as you know, Pepe and I, by the way, we've never met. You know, we chat primarily here, but I feel like I know him very well. And there are people out there that really mathematically appreciate what we do. And it's a different level of understanding technology. It's really all I'm going to say. Hi, Q. And I'm going to be demonstrating today something that's so powerful, but for those that really can appreciate it, it's the thing that kind of separates. You know, people often say to themselves, or I'm sure, like, you know, right now on social media, it's everything is about AI agents, open call, we'll do everything for you, and yada yada yada. And AI can do a lot of stuff, but ultimately, AI is only as good as what it's trained on. You know, it has to have a set of data. And all current AIs are limited by the back end. In other words, like what, you know, even if they had access to NASDAQ only can give them either the raw data or something else. Polygon only maintains its own kind of data. What makes Trade Ideas so different is that we maintain and build our custom data on the fly as it's happening. That's how we train Holly. That's how our streaming technology comes through. And this is the differentiator. But what I'm going to be demonstrating today, guys, is, you know, super pivotal. And I think really, honestly, this is what you've all been waiting for the last probably 3 months, as I've been doing live streams, as we've been working on our server and all this stuff. So ding, 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 ding. The live stream is starting. Hi, Edwin. How are you? Let me just say that a huge amount of work has been completed. I'm going to be demonstrating. We finished. We just built the build for the new beta that we're going to be releasing. I'm going to be showing you all of the features that are in there, and then I'm going to dive into the fact that when we build stuff, again, it's not just, we're not only a layup shop. we can do 3-pointers, reversals. We're doing multiple things at once, and I'm going to show you what we're going to bring to the table. So let's jump in. We're at the top of the hour. I like to start with this sometimes because I've seen online lots of, and I've said this before, this is not the first time you guys are seeing this. I often say, why do you want to listen to somebody if that somebody doesn't do the thing that they're showing you how to do? There's so many gurus and mentors out there. They're going to take your money, join their Discord or whatever, but what are the results? Okay. And I've often said that one of the things that separates Trade Ideas from everybody else is that the team at Trade Ideas, and I'm not the only one, is an active trading management team. We all work with our technology and we all put up high numbers. So I'm showing you so far, I don't profess to be the best. I'm not even the best one at Trade Ideas, to be honest, but I'm showing you my numbers. This is one of my larger accounts. It's Schwab, so you can see it's real. And I try not to hide it, and I'm not doing this to brag. Hi, Ritman, good morning. I'm doing this to simply make sure you understand that the people that are behind Trade Ideas are not just in the game with you, but our job and our focus is to showcase that we can excel. We can excel using our own technology that we're giving to you, so that the idea is that hopefully using our tech, you can get similar results. So this is year-to-date numbers. I am up right now $398,000 year-to-date. That's from January to March 18th, up 20%. I'm nowhere near Nancy Pelosi levels, but come on, I don't have insider information. So just wanted you to see where I'm at, and all of my numbers, 2 years, 247, 1 year, 107, year to date, 20, they all look good. So I'm just saying, it's not just luck, it's a continued level of skill, and I focus on leading by example versus simply sales and marketing. So I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to start walking you through some stuff that we're going to be doing today on our webinar. Okay. So number one, just something for everyone to know. I'm going to be demonstrating today the new features that we have added to this beta. Okay, I already have a lot of the stuff sort of set up, and I am right now to show you some of the things. I am connected. This is not anything that you deal with, but I'm connected to our test server. I'm going to have to switch off of that when I want to show you some other things. But for now, what is one of the bigger components of our beta? We designed something called the Advanced Order Entry Panel. It's called the Advanced Trade. You can get it on charts, but I already have one open. And what I want to do here is I'm going to showcase the speed. We're updating data now. I believe it's like 7 updates per second. So this is showing you this is kind of like a hybrid level 2, even though it's the best bid and ask. But you can see as size starts moving and changing. And this order execution panel is designed for people who are optimally quickly getting in and out. You can auto send where there's no confirmation. You can buy the ask. You can short sell on the ask. You can sell the bid, or you can buy the bid, or you can buy and sell market or cancel any of the orders quickly. You can adjust size, 1,000, 10,000, 100 shares, whatever you want. The idea here is lightning fast execution. You can see the color of the time and sales, which is included. You can move that away if you don't want to see it. But here on the time and sales, if it's printing the offer, it'll be in green. So that's means somebody's buying the ask. If it's in between, it's in white. And if somebody's hitting bids, it's in red. Okay. So this is a very powerful advanced order entry, and it also exists inside the charts. You can, if you don't have it out, you can have a chart and just pop the chart. But I have it out here for you guys to see. Okay. So a lot of the server technology to improve the data all went in, was kind of like we rewrote a lot of our backend server stuff to be able to connect the data more quickly so that we can update the advanced order entry panel. I'm going to show you like some different types of stocks so you can just see what that looks like. Okay, so here's a smaller stock. This is a mining stock. It's been all over the place, but you can kind of see, 13 by 13. So this represents that these are the same like size. So there's same amount of people on the bid, same amount of people on the offer. Here, just a little bit more. This is the spread in between. And you can see there's more size on the bid. Just a little bit more. Very similar. Printing the offer. Okay. Then if you get into something that's, here's Nebius. And by the way, again, I don't know why, but this test server that I'm on does not like this symbol for some reason in the charts. Again, that cannot be explained. But you can see just a little bit, see only 200 to 600. That's why the size changes now, it updates. You can see your 7 cents, 8 cents spread. You can see also which side is being hit. This flashes. So bid, you can see the bid, offer, just a lot of details here. And again, I have no idea why on the test server I can't see this data, but just showing you what this looks like. Target, 14 cent spread. Okay, 700, bigger than 300, 1 to 4. But this is relative to this size right here. Okay. All right. So one of the things, again, that's here is the advanced order entry panel. You can get it from the chart or from Brokerage Plus. Let's jump into Brokerage Plus. Not Brokerage, sorry. And I'm going to stop the money machine. There's really not that much going on today. I'm going to get rid of all of this. Okay. And I'm going to show you what's available now. And I believe this should be on the website either tomorrow, but Friday at the latest. I mean, this is out. I'm on that version. This is the beta. Okay, so you can use alerts now for entries. So you can create an alert system, not just a top list or a race. So you can design very custom entries for alerts. You can use your own price alerts so that like when you said, let's say I wanted to buy Target. Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna close this out. Let me just show you. Let's say I went over here. Go long. Money machine strategy, my price alerts. So imagine that you're now off of the market or something. You're just going through levels and you're doing this. When you use price alerts, so now if target gets hit here, this will become an entry for you. And again, and you can save this in a profile so that you can use all of this. So you can use, we renamed TradeWave to TI Wave because there was some stupid company that had the name TradeWave, so that's why we renamed it. Again, use alerts. exit positions on stop, trade wave, so much more. And again, we haven't even started build. We're gonna redo this UI, but I'm just showing you guys the power. Okay, couple of more things. The notification. Okay. So again, you can customize your trade wave. Let me move that for a second. Move that. Okay. So without the trade wave, because that's what dictates the entry and exits when you have that set here, okay, you can set your own risk levels, trailing stop numbers, you can adjust them, reversals, all sorts of re-entry times. But one of the really cool things here is the notification system that's actually going to be pervasive all throughout. Yeah, Ripman, it's done. This is it. Everyone should be looking out for an email again. I think at the latest Friday, but we finished. So, but again, I want to showcase that here. Like when I say, so this is going to be, it's not exit positions after minutes, it's notification, but this wording doesn't need a new version to change. So the idea here is evaluation time. We're notifying you that we're saying, okay, every 15 minutes, I want a notification if it's not up at least, let's say 0.01 or let's call it $25. I want to, figure out what to do. Re-entry, timeout minutes, saying like, I'm not going to overtrade something. I'm going to wait 15 minutes. And how long do you want to decide on what to do? I'm going to say like 90 seconds, save. And you guys have seen this before. This has popped up. So the idea here is then if I'm turning this on, I'm going to close this so you can just see it. In this particular case, super pickup system for it's trading the super volatile names. But you get the idea. So in 10 minutes, in theory, if this, because I'm on the test server, because I'm going to show you something else that's really beyond amazing. But the money machine is going to run here. So we were in AIM, and then we picked up GPK. Again, you can see all the risks, automatic. Just, you can adjust the scaling, everything. So this is trading 2.7. AIM is trading just off the charts here. And I've already been in and out of it a couple of times. Okay, so Pepe, buckle up. Math boys, get ready. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows I'm going to be showing you that, and this is brand new tech. But this is going to highlight what I discussed earlier with you. And by the way, I want to hear some comments too. Because remember, in Trade Ideas, we are talking about designing the visuals of the data. And what I mean by that is we want to give you the flexibility, the power to be able to control your setup. So I'm going to show you some things first, and then we're going to dive into the configurations and get in there. Edwin, I'm so happy that, so listen guys, one of the things that I just love hearing is, Edwin just said, thanks for Nebius. You talked about it last year and I made 30K profit from it. This paid for a few years of Trade Ideas. That's what I want. What Edwin is, and I know not everybody, listens to me on everything. And if you listen to my wife, she will tell you don't listen to Dan on anything. But I'm so grateful that you shared that. It just gives me an immense amount of joy to know that someone else is benefiting from the work that I do and the research that I do, and is actually able to, take advantage. That's what it's about. I've been in the game a very long time, you guys. I've seen the internet bubble. The original search. I was a SOS bandit when the original like search engine game was going on, Lycos and Yahoo. And I mean, and these things move thousands of percent over a short amount of time. I saw Dell Computer from 1994 to 2000 go 35,000%, especially when you factor in the every other quarter splits. I mean, you're talking about exponential, life-changing wealth. And you guys know that, it's interesting. Like, if I may get philosophical here for a minute, you guys have heard about the concept of time is money. And, I don't want to get too metaphysical on it, but that's not actually real, because we're not real in the way that you think. The problem is there's very short amount of time during the day. And if you are getting paid by the hour, no matter how much really you're making, unless you're like, NBA player or something, there's not enough hours for you to make exponential wealth. You've got to put your assets to work for you in a weird way, or maybe not in a weird way. I mean, again, think about what I'm saying here. Like how everyone's talking about AI agents. AI agents. Have Claude do this. Have Claude do that. Grok will do this. Well, stocks are your wealth agents. By the way, I'm about to patent what I'm saying. Yes, stocks are your wealth generating agents. What Nebius did this year, you can't like work hourly to do it. What Dell did in the 90s, there's not enough hours to do it. You've got to get into something. And by the way, the other thing I'm going to point out, and I've said this before, concentration versus diversification. The worst word you can ever use for investing is diversification. Edwin knows very well that Nebius is my largest holding. My biggest winner is by far my largest holding. I'm concentrated in Nebius, and that's why I have outsized returns. Because in my opinion, as a trader and someone who's been in this game a long time, AI is more potent than even search or computers were in the 90s. Search 2000, computers in the 90s, what Qualcomm did in the early 2000s. AI is bigger than that, and Nebius could be the number one name in it. Yeah, Edwin, by the way, it takes time. You need to get your rhythm. So, okay, I've gotten the philosophy out of the way. Now I'm going to show you. What's going on. All right, this is an alert window. It's called Just Off Highs. 10 minutes since high. Pepe, take notes. 9, 7. This is just a minute ago. So the key here is this: 10 minutes since highs. Okay. So we're not on highs yet, but we're in the 5-minute candle, and we're very close. The idea is this is just off of highs and going. Here, you've got 75 minutes since highs and lows, but this is kind of like the mid-range play. Watch. Boom. Boom. And I'm going to show you how I did this, because, again, the ones that really get it are going to love it. Okay, so this is a top list. Here's 30 minutes since highs in the upper range. So this is when this took place. Remember, this is 7:38, so a little while ago, but this was the alert. UNG. Let's take a look at it right here. This was the alert. So let me show you what we did here. And I think, especially for your strategy building skill set, you guys are going to really, really appreciate it. This is brand new stuff. Do you see this right here? That's right. We don't have an icon for it. We just added 2 super powerful filters. Minutes since new daily high. This is the minimum. This is the maximum. Minutes since new daily low. Minimum, maximum. So here, in this particular example, I said, I want to see, there has to have been at least 75 minutes since it's hit the high and 75 minutes since it's hit the low, which means that it's not at the high or the low right now. That's how I know it's like that range kind of play. Boom. Low, high. Okay. Here I have 30 minutes since new high upper range. Let's talk about this for a minute. We're going to tweak the configuration. So here I have, it had to have been at least 30 minutes since the new high. But what if I said maximum here? It at most 15 minutes away from the new high and is still at the top of the, like, again, I don't know like how detailed I can get it. Like at the top of the range. So we're going to call it 15 minutes most since highs upper range. Nothing might come in. Okay, so that just happened, EMGN. So it was just on highs and it hit. So do you guys understand that now and by the way, for this feature, once we move this to production, there's no downloads, it'll just appear, there will be an icon. So let's really talk about what we've done here. Going back to our data. So our software tracks when new highs and lows take place. Okay. And by the way, let me just, I'm going to type in, all you have to do is type in the word since. Okay. Seconds since new high, seconds since new low, minutes since new high, minutes since new low. For the math boys here, you understand that NASDAQ can't do this and Polygon can't do this because they're not keeping track of the database the way that we are. This is custom data level stuff. And what this allows you to do, okay, this just allows you to say, hey, I want to see something, but it has to have been a long time since it's hit the low. Like, well, I'm going to do something here. Hold on. But again, I want to show there's seconds, so you can really dial this in, like, you know, just happened, like 35 seconds ago, or at most 35 seconds ago. Okay. So the idea is painting the picture with time and ranges. Okay. So here, once again, because I said, let's go to configure. And by the way, I'm still working with like how to really take advantage here, right? So this is minimum. So there had to have been at least 75 minutes since the new high and 75 minutes since the new low. And the idea here is, right, I'm looking, this is just an example of, I'm looking for high reward. So I'm going to close this up. You guys get this. I mean, you understand time. Time is a key measure of things. How long has it been? But what I'm able to do here now is, right, because of this setup, okay, do you see how I'm isolating these moves where the risk is fairly low? I mean, all of these have very high relative volume. I mean, this is up 38%. But at this level right here, you're talking about just basically a, 10 cents, 20-cent risk to try to catch moves that potentially are in this area. Okay. So here, just example, both upside and downside together, 30 minutes since new lows. So this had a low right here, boom, 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 boom. And here's it went forward again, but bounced, and here it is. So here, like, again, you're able to sort of like spearfish bottoms and spearfish tops in similar ways. And for me, and we're gonna let's work together and come up with something. Okay. So here I have between 1 and 20. Now I'm going to remove the position in range. Okay. But I'm going to say, for example, that, well, here again, the example is 10 minutes at most. So this is just off highs. So I'm going to look for something that's up, let's say 2% for the day, and is just 10 minutes off highs. Let's call it, yeah. And I got rid of some of the filters. So let's look at next. Okay, so here you go. So Peter, this is the highs of the day. We're working on the 60-minute version of this as well, by the way. It's the math. Interestingly enough, it's funny that you mentioned that. The math of the 60 minutes is not as simple as just the 60 minutes. So it gets a little bit trickier moving, like what time of the hour did it happen, and then how do you count off the hour, etc. But this is relative to the daily highs and the daily lows. So LiDAR, okay, just off of highs. So you see what I'm saying? Like just at most, that's the beauty, is at most it 10 minutes. So again, I can right click, duplicate, and again, the same thing with the lows, right click, configure, flip. And I'm just showing you both. There's the mins and the max. URG is on lows. Boom. But the beauty here, right, is that it just had lows 10 minutes ago. So like, again, like you can see, these aren't like a quick spike one way or a quick spike down. You're almost like trend trading a little bit here, but this is just the negative trend aspect of it. All right, you guys, by the way, the notifications, remember? So very soon, all across trade ideas, like AI trades that you should be in, are going to be looking like this too. Like you could be on any channel and it'll say, hey, here's a new Holly trade. Here's what it's doing, how much it's up, whatever. So here's an example where I've got 45 seconds to make a decision. Okay. This is down $9. So I'm going to say, do nothing. Okay. So just an example. And the idea here, why do we do this, is that this is kind of like a heads up display. So that when you're in money machine trades and you're working on different things, you're always being aware of the fact that, hey, I'm in these positions, and like here's one ARTL that I'm down $35 in, and I've been around this one before. Really, it's just been in a super tight range, but 684 times normal volume. So let's quickly, now again, we're at the halfway point, so let's quickly summarize. execution panel. You've got the ability to just watch the level 1 data. You can watch the time and sales. Again, notice 37 seconds. I want to exit. I don't like it. So that's what happened. Boom. You're being pointed to the management of these trades. We talked about the fact that a lot of the back-end server work was improving the updates per second. And on a stock like Tesla, you can really see what that looks like. And all of these things right here, tighten stop by 50. So an immense amount of work is being done with trade ideas. Okay, so you guys saw, again, I'm going to go to the configure, and I'm going to type in the word search and since. So the brand new changes were second since new high, second since new low, mins and max, and minutes since new daily high, minutes since new daily low. And I was showing you how this all works. Again, you can make it so that it's mid-range or on lows or on highs. And again, you can dial that in by working with the filters and dialing them in. So then I'm going to show you something else that I've been doing. And I'm going to switch to our regular tools, options. Let me go to primary. Save. Okay. So all of these windows, they now don't have that filter anymore. So I'm going to close them up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick demonstration, okay, of something else that I've been working on. And Os, this is something else that I think you are really going to potentially appreciate. So this is the Explosive Winners channel. And I'm going to size this so you can all see it the right way. Okay. Notice right here, we are now working on making the races longer so that you can see some of the bigger movements happen. And I want to really get you into the setup of it, just so you can kind of see it. Let me do something real quick. I'm going to stop and start, just so I can get it fresh the way it is. So bear with me. I'm going to hit X, and I'm going to say no. Okay, and then I'm going to restart Trade Ideas. Should be coming up shortly here. Okay, let's bring this back in. All right. For those of you that really understand the whole concept of the race, what we are trying to do here, halted. By the way, I mean, you guys see this is what the market, you know, look at these moves. AI-driven software company or software platform for autonomous swarm control of drones. All right. I used to be a fan of Michael Crichton There's like a whole book on that from the 90s. Yeah, if you guys do any biblical study, you know they say there's nothing new under the sun. So, but let me show you what I'm doing. So I have a 200-minute race. So what I'm really trying to do is have the race isolate the big movers. And when I show you, I'm going to go to show race setup. Okay. So the basis of the race is a 10-minute dollar move, but the sort is changed from the open. Okay. So these two things, for the people that really understand what the race can do, I want to just show you this new approach that we've done. Okay. And the idea here is these will now, like, because this is a longer race and it's based on dollars. So like you're really looking at cent movements. The percents are a different aspect of it, but you're going to be finding these names, okay, that have the potential over, this is approximately 3.5 hours or so, roughly speaking. So I'm basically doing, this race is, there's 2 of them a day, right? But the idea and what I found is through this experience is that this type of a view mode gives me the ability to see the data a little bit better and broader. I am so on the 10-minute races, there's just so much turnover, in, out, in, out, in, out. And again, for some people, that's totally fine. And I get it. But I am at my age, and I'm 55. I know I look 30, but come on. I'm trying to really isolate and have trade ideas be able to focus on the momentum without an immense amount of turnover. So again, just so you can see what I'm doing. So I've redone these races, and again, once the data starts to form, you're going to see a lot of what's going on here. Okay. This is the move that we've been catching, the 10-minute move. So it went from 25.35 to 26.26. And Regencell is one that, this thing is a very volatile stock, just FYI. Okay. For those of you that don't use Trade Ideas AI, I'm telling you, you're missing quite a bit. Here's an example of and again, we're redoing this user interface, and it's going to have a lot of what I showed you in the Money Machine messaging settings. So you will have known, for example, that ADTN, this was the signal today. This is what it looked like. And our AI said that this thing, based on what it sees, has a lot of potential. These are the signals that were happening. What are the past signals doing today, sorted by today's change from the close? And so obviously we can't control this. This is just what the market's doing. But today's, and again, I want to just give you an example of how to utilize this tech. So here, if you stretch out the column, right, you can kind of see when these positions started and what they look like. So ARGO was yesterday's signal. Okay. Or is that today's signal? No, today is the 8th. Yeah. So that was yesterday at 7. Okay, I'm in this. That's why. Let me get out of this. Okay, so here's the signal. I was in the money machine, and by the way, I just made money just a little bit, but you can see. So yesterday the signal occurred right here, and this is what happened today. All of our AI analysis is never done on day trading. It's not that we're anti-day trading. Of course, all of us trade actively as well, but day trading is not how you make money. Okay, let me explain what I mean by that, just so you understand. And again, I'm as active of a trader as you can get. I just want to just demythify and explain to you guys the real game. And I'll just put Nebius here again as an example. Okay. So, you know, from 45 to 140, it went 100 points in 1, 2, 3, 100 points in 3 months. You can't day trade that because because there are forces that work against you in these moves where like it'll come up here and then you're like, okay, it's going, and then just totally sell off. And then here you're like, okay, this thing's about to go bankrupt. Boom, pops up and starts ripping right here. Then this is called algo psychology counterintuitivity. Okay, so the algos know the technical analysis books because, guys, if you don't understand this level of the game, listen very carefully to what I'm saying, because this could be the most valuable information you ever hear. There are zero, when I say zero, I mean zero. There are zero successful hedge funds that use quote unquote technical analysis. Technical analysis, okay, is not what you think. It's how vendors sell bullshit so that you buy stuff that you think is something that you need. But let me, and I've explained this before, but I really want to showcase here. The algos know that you make decisions based on, like, for example, see this low right here? You're like, man, I stayed in, even though, like, by the way, see this low, lower low. So like you would get out right here. They know this. Then look what happens right afterwards. Boom, 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 boom. Higher highs. You're like, fuck, I'm getting in. Higher high. Technical analysis. And then it goes, boom, and then makes a lower low right here, lower than here. You're like, dang it, I'm buying puts. I'm getting short. And literally, you're like, I'm shorting right here. And it goes, boom. And you're like, man, how did I lose money on that? I'm getting out. And then you get out right here, and then it goes lower. And you're like, I'm so smart. Now I'm thinking about selling it short. And then it does this. Then look at here. This is another lower low. And then higher high. So the whole concept of lower lows is higher highs is how they bait you into making decisions that purely emotionally, which is not the way that you want to be making decisions. So what I'm saying is these things are hard to catch. Okay, you have to have a different perspective, and the perspective isn't technical analysis. The perspective is feel. You almost want to be buying these levels and selling these levels if you're going to play it the right way. Okay, but here again, just going examples of what we've given to our subscribers. 317 ARGO. This is what this looked like. 225. Look at this right here. Look at this move. Okay, so you're talking about just a little over a month. Okay, energy play, nailed the whole potential Iran war thing, and you're talking about entry price at 930, and it's at 26, 182%. Remember right here, today's a down day, and look at what our AI signals are doing. Okay, from January. Come on. Lots of chances to, if you missed it on this one and you missed this whole move, there's chances here. And then look at this potential. So our AI, yeah, Pepe, absolutely. Fibs are a better example, and Pepe's talking about some mathematics here that I hope you guys kind of look into. But I think we're really talking about the same thing: emotions cloud judgment. When you make emotions your key, like, ooh, I like winning. Oh, I don't like losing. Sadly, the end result will be lots of losing. And that's not the way that you want to trade. So what I'm saying is you want to be able to feel things. So what do? We give you signals, okay? And these signals are based on mathematical feel, okay? Our AI studies big moves. That's what we've trained it to do. So our agent, Holly, studies what do big moves look like over the near term. We do not care about what happened over the last 200 years in IBM. That's like, I've said this joke before, but that's like if you're an NFL player, that's like preparing for your next team by watching the 1990 Cowboys. I mean, that ain't going to help you. Aikman's not playing anymore. Okay. So when it comes to our AI, this is probably the most popular and most potent channel that you should be on. And if you're not taking advantage of it, I think you should. I've made a couple of windows that I'm going to share with you guys that I have not shared yet. So notice again, bottoms up, long-term pivots. I mean, on these, let me give you, yeah. So on these live streams, I like to just give you some of my personal work so that, again, you can see what I'm doing with my mind to try to train myself. So psychologically, what I'm doing here with these long-term pivots is a little bit of very high level what Warren Buffett talked about. If everybody's selling, you sort of want to be thinking about buying. It's like counter crowd trading, not counter trend. Like Nebius, the trend was up, and I said to myself, "There's no way I can catch all the ups and downs, so I'm going to stay in it if I feel the trend is up," and the trend has been up and been a ton of volatility. But this is the same thing. So I like to find pivots where this something like this can turn around. I mean, it can be a very strong potential play here. And again, without even getting into the fundamentals, but you can see this thing has been at $8, revenues of 400 million. They make money, and market cap, I mean, they have no multiple of revenue, but maybe that's something that can change. So I'm going to hit right click, save and share to the cloud. Copy, and here you guys go. Everyone who's a Trade Idea subscriber can then get this. Let me see if I can find some of these other ones. So I also like to use candlestick patterns as my triggers. So here, I'm just going to change this to 1.5, and I'm going to change this to 2 to 35 to give you a broader perspective. And let's take a look together. Once again, so this is a ETF. Let me show you a way that you can get rid of ETFs. Again, this is just, you can go to search and type in earnings per share, because ETFs don't have that. Add the filter. Okay, so now you have ADMA. This happened 20 minutes ago. Let's take a look. So right there. So this would have been on the 16, so see like 60-minute bottoming tail. So if you're looking at it, that's kind of like what you're, move that right here. Oops, sorry. Let me find where that other one is. Here we go. All right, so configure. And I'm going to search for tail. So notice again that we have a very extensive candlestick pattern recognition engine. Add alerts. You know, just to give you a little perspective of what you can do depending on the things that you like. Candle trigger. I'm going to hit OK. So here, this is a 10-minute one. And of course, I have the, let me move this so that it doesn't go away in the background. Bear with me for a second here. Switch this to 10 minutes. Bring this in here. And this was just taking place. So that's kind of, you can see the pattern. Right there, that bottoming tail, that's the trigger. And again, remember that if this is high level imagery, you know, our software processes the data in a different way that charts paint candles. We actually do a little bit more math behind the scenes to try to not get tricked sort of by the random open, high, low, close kind of a situation. But you get the idea. And history today, let's take a look. Obviously, these are going to be a little bit active. But the nice thing here is, you know, remember, we're trying to catch the bottoming tail. Look at this interesting pattern right here on 8 times normal volume. This is what I'm trying to bring to the table, you guys. You know, I'm trying to get you to see that we already have so much power. Yeah, Edwin, I'll take a look at SBET real quick to give you my 2 cents. And this is not investment advice. Okay, so I'm going to right click, save and share to the cloud. Copy, and I'm going to paste that in here. Okay, so now you guys have 2 custom windows that I built for, you know, pivots and candlestick bottoms. And again, these types of trades right here, these, like, one of the things, and I am different from most of you, of course, but there's just something that I like that's appealing to me in the sense of trying to outsmart kind of the crowd. And in here in particular, you know, obviously the trend is down, right? But I would have probably tried to play this move and it wouldn't have been successful. But I like these moves too. But the idea here is, right, which you're kind of like thinking about is, can this thing flush this move or this panic? Okay. And you can see that there was a huge up move that happened and it's reversed. So there's a lot of volatility. And these are the kind of things that I enjoy playing. So let's go to SBET. And by the way, I mean, we're kind of only have 5 minutes left. So any questions you guys have, this is the time to put them in here. So SBET. I really, since the February lows, it's been trending higher. So I would be playing it, on that not upper, but on the long side. It is down 53% over the last 6 months, but I would be assuming that, my kind of pivot points are fairly short term. Like, so since basically it bottomed, roughly speaking, like right in February. Okay. So that was like the flushing. And I think, I believe Estbet is aren't they like a big crypto something also, right? All right, let me see. Look at this thing. Ethereum, yeah. So this is a crypto play. Just by the way, you know what I'm in? On that note, Edwin, I'm in this guy. Okay. Same concept. If Bitcoin pivots, Dean, real quick, what do you mean? Oh, this. Yeah, so this is all part of the new version. What this is the alert. This is an alert stream that's in the charts. This tells you the last alert that took place. A block trade happened, and it traded in between. So like somebody bought a bunch like over the last minute in between the bid and the ask. Yeah. So that's, let me show, how does that get put on? Let's see if I can remember. Okay, do you guys see this? So let me just close this and I'll start again. So the triple dot, okay, how do you put on the alerts on the chart? Display alerts on chart. Right, yeah. Peter, I'm trying to understand your question. Peter's asking, can you show the buy button clearly and is there an automatic stop? So on the advanced order entry, okay, this is just to get in and out, okay? This is not for stops and stuff like that. It's just a different kind of animal, but let me show you. So in Brokerage Plus, I'll bring it back up. Okay. See, like you can, I believe, you can just change that and make it a stop order. And you can go to, let me share something else real quick. Where is my menu? Tools, options, okay. Brokerage Plus, orders, okay. So you can, I believe, time and force, shares, click buttons. 1 second. Risk management. So see on your orders for Brokerage Plus, you can automatically, for every thing you do, create either a stop loss or you can also add a profit target, in terms of dollars or percent. So let me just make sure everyone understands. I'll go back to how we did this. Yes, this card has changed. Okay, so I go to tools and options. Okay, Brokerage Plus, and these are your orders. Right, make sure you're using the browser charts. And Here's how you do it automatically. Okay, so I have this right here set for advanced trade, but if you click here and you go to basic, it's a little bit of a different one, and you can also add stops to it as well. So basic one is more for the regular type of, you're gonna, let's say, buy, 500 shares, and you can market and buy, and then instantly you can put in a stop as well. But if you have it set already in what I showed you right there, it can all be automated. Yeah, I personally do not really trade in the pre-market too much myself because the liquidity is a completely different animal. So uh, I believe all of this, the stop stuff is for market hours only. I'm pretty sure. All right, you guys, we're at the top of the hour. Had a huge crowd today. Thank you for joining me. Remember that I showed you new filters. The beta is going to be released. I'm on it. Lots of exciting stuff. Any other questions before we end this Wednesday's live stream? All right, Edwin. Thank you guys. Love you all. Really appreciate everybody sharing their hour with me. Have a great rest of your week, and let's make some serious gains. Trade Ideas is doing Operation Epic Profits, and our goal is unconditional success. All right, you guys. Talk to you soon. Enjoy the show.